Emmanuel Macron, same question. What will you do? What do you pledge to do to help the French people on this specific point of purchasing power?
Well, first of all, Madame Le Pen is quite right to mention the numbers, figures that I didn't pull out, but that independent or bodies have set up. That indeed the purchasing power of the working classes and the workers have increased. But there is an issue at the end of the month, of course, and I agree with what you said. I've heard the same thing over my various trips across the country, the 600 trips I have made over the last 5 years. People complaining about how difficult it is to make your weekly shop, to pay for your groceries. Now, as Madame Le Pen said, there's an issue with energy prices, and I want to impose a cap on prices, and I think that's twice as effective as dropping VAT. In fact, the French will experience an increase of their gas bills by a couple dozen or maybe 100 euros a year because you voted against this cap. And that just leads to a number of difficulties. So I would preserve this cap for as long as the crisis is raging. The only difference, or the other difference there is with you, is that it's twice as effective, as I said. But it's not sustainable, as you rightly said. This is a crisis management mechanism. When we get to more normal times, we will not subsidize oil and gas that we do not produce, but in fact, we will help households change their vehicles and go for electric vehicles, for instance, and we've already started doing that. Second thing, work, labor. I'm proud to see that we together have been able to create 1.2 million payment slips. I mean, I was looking at your platform, and there's no mention of unemployment. Clearly, that means that there's no issue, that you're recognizing the hard work that we put in over the last 5 years. But the best way to fight against the loss of purchasing power is to fight against unemployment. And so we have had 1.2 million French who've gone back to work. Basic minimum pay will increase 34 euros a month. Pensions will increase also for as of the summer. We're not going to wait until January 1st. After all, inflation is already beyond 4%. And I want small pensions to be raised up to 1,100 euros, contrary to you who just want us to keep it at 1,000. And there's also something that I tend to call the wage earner dividend. And what it means is that when businessmen or managers pay dividends, and we know what kind of rules apply, that whenever dividends are paid, then other bonuses or dividends should be paid to workers. There was a bonus that was introduced, or a possibility of a bonus introduced 3 years ago, capped at €1,000, and now it's going to be compulsory. And for basic wages and minimum wage, we want to simplify this, that this will go across the board and also benefits everyone who will be entitled to benefits will get them automatically, which means that there'll be less fraud and less difficulty claiming them. So those are the few measures we have in this respect. As for the disability benefit, it has been increased over the last 5 years, up at 90 euros a month. And I do hope that we can avoid the problem that you identified, that someone who can claim disability benefit when they get married with someone who earns a lot of money would lose it. And I believe you weren't there in Parliament when we discussed this.